were you at that time? Do you remember?
I was driving around in the cruiser. I want to say I was probably close to downtown area.
And what did you do when you heard that call?
I started immediately heading that way.
And by that way, you mean
Heading towards the Skyway Bridge.
Okay. When you say heading, did you meander that way or quickly?
I quickly responded. I got onto the interstate and then went lights and siren.
And so that's the indication of how much of a hurry you were in. Lights and sirens means you're going as quick as you safely can.
Yes.
Where did you go?
Over the Skyway, as they were called. First, the first officer saw what he thought was a gentleman throwing a child over the bridge. Then another officer called out on the radio that they were behind the vehicle that was described. So at that point in time, we were responding towards where the officer was behind the vehicle. So at that point, they were already across the Skyway. So I was.
So while you're going toward the Skyway, you're hearing the other officers. You're getting updated through the radio.
Yes.
All right. And so why didn't you stop on top of the Dick Meisner Bridge?
Because they were still voicing out that they were behind the vehicle. It had not been stopped yet.
All right. And that's why you went
Kept
toward
continuing
the vehicle.
on. Yes.
Okay. Still lights and siren?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you end up? Where did you go?
Somewhere off the interstate in Manatee County. I'm not very good at that area, so it was close to 301, that vicinity up in that area, Manatee County.
And again, you were going in that, you were listening to the radio.
I was listening to where they said they were, and as you approached, you could see the lights, and then I knew that I was in the right area.
When you arrived at and when you say the lights, you mean
From cruisers, yes.
a lot of lights?
Yes.
And what the lights that you saw, was that the roadblock that had been set up by Manatee?
Yes.
When you got there, were there already St. Petersburg Police patrol officers there?
Yes, there were.
To your knowledge, were you the first sergeant that arrived?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
All right.
I'm pretty sure there was another sergeant there.
What did you do when you got there?
When I got there, due to the exigent circumstances, I asked where the defendant was, and I was told he was in the back of Officer Carter's cruiser. And the main focus was trying to figure out who or what he had thrown over the bridge. So I found the cruiser that he was in, and I got into the cruiser with him.
Okay. Let me go back then and make sure, when you got to the scene, Mr. Jonchuck was already in a police cruiser?
Yes, he was. He had already been placed in a police cruiser.
And whose cruiser was it?
Officer Carter.
Okay. And that's a
St. Petersburg police officer.
Right, and his car is a full-on patrol car,
Yes.
not a low profile or anything
No.
like that? Lights, light bar, cage, everything?
Yes.
Before you talked to Mr. Jonchuck, were you able to see him?
Yes.
Were you able to hear him?
He was yelling.
Was
He was
any-
he appeared very agitated.
Was anybody in the car?
No.
So he is alone in the car?
Actually, I'm sorry, take that back. I want to say Officer Carter was sitting in the cruiser with him. because I think I had him get out so that I could get into the cruiser to talk to him.
Okay. And your purpose of going over there was to, you said because of the exigent circumstances, it was to ask him some questions about who or what he had thrown over the bridge.
Correct.
Okay.
Because they were doing a search and rescue on the water as well. At that point in time, it was all kind of unfolding at the same time.
Were you in uniform?
Yes.
Okay. I know the uniforms have changed since then, but we've seen a number of officers come in today. I mean, you're in a full St. Petersburg Police Department uniform?
Yes. And as a supervisor, I had different gold stripes on my uniform.
Patches on your sleeves?
Yes.
Badge on your chest?
Yes. There's no way you could not tell I was a police officer.
Did you tell him who you were?
Yes, I got into the cruiser. He was in the back seat. I introduced myself. I go by Terry. Teresa's my given name, but I introduced myself as Terry. I introduced myself as Sergeant Terry Hubble and asked him what his name was.
What did he say?
He proceeded to tell me that he was God and that I needed to address him as such. And then he said my name. He's Terry, you need to take me to the city of Babylon.
When you got in the car, he was agitated and yelling?
Yes.
Okay. When you introduced yourself, did he stop talking or did he keep on yelling?
He would, when I was talking and introducing myself and asking a question, he would listen. And then he would yell an answer back to me.
Were his answers responsive to your questions?
Basically, I was asking him his name and who he had thrown over the bridge. He would never give me his given name. He basically would tell me that he was God or the fallen angel of Michael. And he would say, Terry, you need to take me to the city of Babylon. He would not tell me who he threw over the bridge, and he would not give me his name.
How many times did he tell you that he was God?
Numerous times.
How many times did he tell you that he was the fallen angel Michael?
Numerous times.
How many times did he tell you to take him to the city of Babylon now?
Numerous.
Was throughout your, I hate to call it a conversation, but throughout your interaction with him, did he make other incoherent statements?
It was basically him repeating the same thing. He actually was asking for his Bible, which I got on the radio and was asking the officers that were near the vehicle if they could see a Bible, because I really didn't know what he was talking about. And he was very adamant about his Bible and wanted to know if his Bible was okay. So I asked the officers, and one of the officers, Officer Julie Bryan, had said that she saw the Bible in the front seat of the car.
Okay, let me back up a little bit there. How many times did he ask for the Bible?
Numerous times.
Okay. Was this after he told you that he was God or the fallen angel Michael?
Yes.
Okay. Did he ever go back and forth between those two?
Between God and the fallen angel of Michael?
Yes.
Yes.
And did he ever go back and forth between where's my Bible or how's my Bible doing and I am God?
Yeah, when I would ask his name was when he would typically say he was God and the fallen angel of Michael, and then intermittently between all of continually saying that, he would say, I need my Bible. Where's my Bible? Is my Bible okay?
Okay. Did you ever have a chance to see this Bible that he was talking about?
I did not see it out at the scene, but when he was transported to Manatee Sheriff's Department, I didn't look in it, I just saw it. It was a big, thick book that he considered his Bible.
I'm gonna try to save some time instead of showing you what's previously been marked. The Bible, you said it was
It's a
big, thick,
yes.
brown, dark colored,
Brown color,
looked old,
yes.
so we know what we were talking about. Thank you. And you said it was Officer Bryant that checked the vehicle or checked his car to find it in there?
Yes,
Okay, and then you saw it back at the
when we were at Manatee Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
I told him while I was talking to him, because he kept asking about it, that we would take it with us, so that, to try and let him know, okay, we have the Bible, and we're gonna take it with us, we're taking you to Manatee Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, how did that come about? Going to Manatee instead of going to St. Pete?
Because it was closer, and then we were waiting for the detectives to arrive. Therefore, it was a place to get off of the middle of the interstate. And it was probably like 10 minutes from where we were at.
I guess I didn't really think about that. These conversations that you're talking about, or again, the interaction you had with them, this is on I-75?
Yes,
And still all the lights and sirens and everything's going on?
yes.
Okay.
We were in the median of the interstate.
And who transported him back to Manatee?
Officer Carter and Officer Bryan.
Okay. You went into the station with them,
Yes.
and where was he?
He was
What?
placed in an interview room that they have that had audio and video.
And I know that you wouldn't have been in charge of that, but I mean, the idea behind that interview room is to record whatever happens in that room?
Well, it was a place for us to wait for the detectives so that they could come and interview him, and they happened to have one that was audio and recorded.
Okay. And you were aware of that night? I mean,
Yes.
okay. At the time that he's in the Manatee County Sheriff's Office station, I guess we could call it. Is he in your custody or their custody or everybody's custody?
Basically in Officer Carter and Manatee, there were detectives from Manatee that were there as well, because they had to let us into the building, and that they were there when the traffic stop occurred.
Yeah, and
So,
keep going, I'm sorry.
no, he basically was in our custody, waiting for the detectives.
Yeah,
questions.
Okay, anything from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Is, Ms. Hubble on standby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Can you call your next witness?
Your Honor, may I approach you briefly with the state?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need to take about a 10-minute recess. Thank you. Keep your pads on the chairs.
Here's out of the hearing for John. All rise. We'll be in recess for 10 minutes according to the courtroom clock.